Let's talk about solitude and let's talk about why it's important. And I'm gonna leave y'all with something first, and this is part of a poem. It goes, if you can talk with the crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch. If neither foe nor loving friend can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. What does this have to do with solitude? What does this have to do with solitude? I'm gonna tell you, it has everything to do with solitude. If you can talk with the crowd and keep your virtue, if you can be around others and hear what everybody else is having to say, if you can be in a space where you might not even think that you should be, but you still stick to yourself, keep your virtue, that's solitude. If you can walk with a king, if you can walk with somebody that's better than you, and still not lose common touch, basically sight of where you came from, of what you know to be true, because kings are realistically not living the life that everybody else around them is living. If not a foe or a loving friend can hurt you because you're so comfortable in being yourself, you're so comfortable in being who you are. If all men count with you but none too much, if you can hear, once again, if you can hear everybody's opinion and still stick to who you are, that's what solitude is about. People hear solitude and you think dark room 24/7, alone, 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 by myself, by myself. No, that's not what it's about. That's really not what it's about. I'm not saying that's not a part of it, because yeah, sometimes you do need to sit in a dark room by yourself and just sit and just think until you can't think no more, because thoughts are thoughts. Get through the thoughts. There's a lot past the thoughts once you get past those. Sometimes it takes being alone to really, actually, I don't even want to say sometimes. I think it actually takes being alone to reconnect and remember who you are as a person. And like I said, it's not about being in a dark room 24/7. I this year, I was in a good state of solitude for about 4 months. And I'm only 21, so I feel like that might not be my longest. That might not be my only, period of solitude. I got a lot that I'm working towards, and it's just gonna take me really locking in and focusing my energy on just, myself and the things that's directly in front of me. But I did need that because it came fresh off of a breakup. That it came fresh off of a breakup, and what I told myself after that happened is like, okay, I was already off Instagram. Had already been off Instagram for like 2 months at that time. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm not finna get back on Instagram. Like, I'm about to just stay in this mode that I'm in. And this was the first time, mind you, graduated college in December. The breakup was in March, around March. That was the first time that I had told myself, locked myself into not reserving my energy for anybody else aside from me since my high school years, like freshman year of high school, maybe even middle school for real, but we just gonna say high school, like not talking to any women in any type of capacity, barely talking to anybody, talking to my pops because I live with them, seeing my coworkers and not having no personal conversation with them, just seeing them because I work with them every day. Getting on the game with my brothers, my two brothers. Yeah, you feel me? Like, that's it. Like, that's all I had. And now I'm kind of getting back out there. I'm putting myself back out there. I'm back on Instagram, been back since June. So, and I don't see myself getting off anytime. I did have like a little week fast back at the end of July while waiting to hear from my job. So I might find myself fasting every now and then. I think that's important, fast from social media, whatever it is that kind of hems you up every now and then, whether it be video games, whether it be people, food, whatever it is, you can fast from a lot of things. It doesn't just have to be food. But taking that time and really like being like really allowing yourself to go deep with like really going deep within yourself and not having to expend energy on more than you have to, especially if it's another person, is where that real growth comes in. I don't think you can find yourself outside. I'm not saying you can't, but like I think it's hard to do when there's a lot going on around you. And I'm not just talking about being with a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I just mean like in general, like you work in a job and you're giving your energy to a lot of people. If you have a front facing job where you are talking to people all day, or not even just a front facing job, but you're talking to people all day, doing things for other people or whatever the case might be, like that's taking your energy from within yourself too. I'm not saying quit your job, but outside of that, you know, there you have to do the things that you want to do, like for yourself. And it feels hard to do the things that we want to do for ourselves sometimes. I don't know why, but like I find that like it's kind of hard to just want to do something for yourself. But we find ourselves doing so much for everybody else nowadays, so why can't we take the time to lock in with ourselves? You know? Like I said, solitude isn't about being stuck up in a room 24/7. It's just about doing you, being you by yourself, you know? I was still going out. I mean, not like to the club and stuff, but I'll go get something to eat. I'll go to the park, wherever, do whatever I gotta do. I'll do it by myself. I still want to go to the movies by myself. I still want to go. I want to take a solo trip out the country by myself. I'm doing that. Like, I'm doing these things for sure, but like, I just gotta, you feel me? But like, I don't think it really should ever end. Like I said, solitude isn't about being stuck up in a room, but that's when you take that time to really find who you are. And once you get to a point where you are figuring out who you are and what you are willing and not willing to deal with, coming back to that like part of that poem I was talking about, is like that's when you can step into a room and not be focused about or worried about what everybody else got going on. Nobody else's opinions can sway you from how you feel about things. And to make this a very simple analogy, to give a very simple analogy, something I've been thinking about recently is I have two accounts on Instagram. I have my main account and I got a spam account. On my spam account, of course, I post whatever I want. But I think that people nowadays, I know for sure, people nowadays get on the main account and they're trying to show, a certain side of themselves that is not really truly themselves, just the side that they want people to see. But like, I kind of get into a point where it's like, bro, both of these are my accounts. Just because this one has more followers and more people that might not interact with me as much, whatever the case might be, or just because it has more eyes on it, don't mean I can't post what I want to post. They both my accounts. If you don't like what I post, then get off my page. Like, I shouldn't be like, oh nah, that's not main worthy. Man, get out of here, bro. Like, that's a good modern day analogy to to talking with crowds and keeping your own virtue. Because it's like, it should not matter what everybody else thinks. And some people are just innately like fine with not worrying about what anybody else thinks. I've never been one of those people. Well, I don't want to. I'll say I've never been one of those people, but I'm not always going to be that person. I'm growing from being that person, from worrying so much about other people's opinions about my life. I think that's what solitude gets you, is not worrying about other people's opinions. You can hear what somebody has to say, but if you know what you know and what you are, comfortable, confident in, then it really doesn't matter what everybody else around you is saying, you know? And whether you be right or you be wrong, I said in my last video, good and bad, right and wrong are made up concepts. So nobody's right, nobody's wrong, or everybody's right and everybody's wrong. Everybody's good, everybody's bad. So none of that even matters in the first place. But that's just what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. That's what I've found in my solitude is learning things, is learning, becoming more, really reconnecting, because I feel like people don't realize you know so much more than you think you do. But at the end of the day, you don't know nothing. You don't know anything, but you do know more than you think you do. But you have to reconnect. You have to be really willing to reconnect and allow yourself to be still and be calm and be alone sometimes to kind of get these things, downloaded into your mind and into your conscious. I don't want to get too deep, but yeah, man. Just go be alone sometimes. Like just be you, you know? Just be you. Do something you haven't done. Do something you haven't done with anybody else. Go do it by yourself. Or go do all the things that you've done with somebody else. Go do them by yourself. Doesn't matter. Just go do something by yourself. Solitude isn't about being lonely. It's not the same thing. It's not solitary confinement. It's not a little box 23 hours a day. It can be if that's what you need, but that's not what it has to be. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one.